quite frankly, a pleasure to be standing outside. I'm also pleased to be joined by this impressive group of leaders of your community, quite frankly, of this region. Leaders in healthcare, education, business, and law enforcement. Folks who heal the sick, protect the vulnerable, and keep our streets safe. We're here at the Chamber of Commerce because the most important decision facing our state today is fundamentally a business decision. The folks standing with me today understand that bringing billions of our Missouri tax dollars back to Missouri to strengthen Medicaid will have a profound and positive impact not only on our health, but also on the local economy here in Warrensburg and in communities in every corner of our state. Now, as governor, I have both the opportunity and the obligation to keep Missouri's economy moving forward, and that's exactly what we've done. Our economy continues to grow. Our unemployment rate has been below the national average for 41 months in a row and recently dipped another 0.2 down to 6.5%. Last year, Missouri employers added 40,000 jobs. That is solid economic progress. And making sure we continue to build on this progress has everything to do with how we move forward on health care. And the question before us is a narrow one. Will we bring the tax dollars that we send to Washington back home to strengthen our Medicaid system here in Missouri? Or will we let the tax dollars that Missourians send to Washington be spent in other states instead? Other states would get the benefits, we'd get the bill. The answer is clear. The people of Missouri deserve to see their tax dollars come back to their communities. That's why my budget for fiscal year 2014 includes the federal funding to provide basic health coverage for an estimated 300,000 more Missourians who currently have no health insurance. It's the smart thing to do, and it's the right thing to do. Why is it the smart thing to do? Because for the first 3 years, 100% of the cost of providing health insurance for those additional folks will be covered by federal funds. 100%. We're also going to put in a 3-year trigger so that after 3 years we get to reset to make sure that we don't get out of fiscal discipline here in our state. But that's just that first full year. That is $1.8 billion into our economy right here in Missouri. That 100% funding is only available for the next 3 years. And that's why we need to move forward now. On January 1 of 2014, that money is either going to start flowing to us or your tax dollars are going to flow to Washington to be spent in other states for health care coverage. Now, even after that, Missouri will only gradually pick up its share of the cost, which will be down to 90-10 by 2020. If we take a pass on billions of health care dollars, that money will go to another state. And I want Missouri dollars to work right here in the Show Me state. If we take just a second and look at this as just a business decision, it's clear this proposal would be a big win for our economy. That's why it's been endorsed by a broad coalition of business groups across our state, including the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, Associated Industries in Missouri, and chambers in Albany, Bolivar, Branson, Cape Girardeau, Clinton, Columbia, Kansas City, Hannibal, Independence, Kirksville, Lake West, Lee Summit, Marshall, Sedalia, Springfield, West Plains, and a chamber right here in Warrensburg. For these business leaders, this is not a political decision. It's an economic one. And we should not let last year's politics get in the way of next year's economic growth. Moving forward with this plan will bring a total of $5.7 billion to Missouri for the first 3 calendar years at no additional cost to our state. The University of Missouri estimates this will generate an additional 24,000. You can already feel the momentum, can't you? Just, I had a good chance to hear them 2 hours ago at the mansion as they came by. I believe 80 trains a day pass the governor's mansion, and any help anybody could be on putting a little more grease on the wheels would be appreciated. The University of Missouri estimates that moving forward on Medicaid expansion will create 24,000 jobs, and that's just in 2014. And you know, we're talking about good jobs for nurses, doctors, pharmacists, therapists, and medical technicians. Strengthening Medicaid will strengthen our economy. Without question, it's the smart thing to do. And you know, there's also a human element to this that just can't be ignored. A stronger Medicaid system will make health care available to 300,000 of our friends and neighbors, working Missourians who simply can't afford health coverage. We're talking about a family of 4 with a household income of roughly $32,500 a year. And also of that 300,000, 50,000 will be for mental health services that are currently being unmet and unneeded and cause significant disruption, challenges, and problems. But this movement is for people who work hard but just can't afford to go to the doctor for preventative or even necessary treatment. As a result, they often end up in our emergency rooms for their health care, and that is a terrible way to deliver health care. It puts a heavy burden on doctors, nurses, and hospitals. It drives up premiums for individuals and businesses, and that must change. Here in Missouri, work is a value that should be rewarded, not discouraged. Seizing this opportunity to strengthen Medicaid the Missouri way makes good common sense, good fiscal sense, and good business sense for the Show Me state. Now, just as there are clear benefits to seizing this opportunity, there are also high costs for letting it pass us by. Sending these dollars to other states to strengthen other communities will have serious consequences for our state and our communities. So what are the costs of inaction, and who will bear them? For our economy, it's fewer jobs, 9,000 fewer jobs, according to the Missouri Hospital Association. For families and businesses, inaction means crowded emergency rooms and higher insurance premiums. In fact, the Missouri Hospital Association just released a report this week that found that failing to strengthen Medicaid would cost the state $11.1 billion and hike costs for families and businesses and their insurance in this state. For our communities, inaction means fewer mental health services for those who need it the most. The Department of Mental Health estimates that hundreds of inpatient psychiatric beds will be cut from a system that is already struggling to meet current needs. And for the law enforcement officers and first responders standing with me today, inaction means more mentally unstable individuals not getting the proper treatment, cycling between the local emergency room and the local jail. I don't have to explain to them or to you what happens when these folks spiral out of control. We have seen that happen too many times across this great country. Friends, standing still will not leave us in the same place we started. If we don't move forward, we'll slip far behind. The fewer jobs, higher costs, and less safety, that's not the right direction for the Show Me state. This is an issue that transcends politics. Across the country, we're seeing governors and legislators put politics aside and do what's undeniably best for their states. Republican Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey recently announced his plans to use these federal funds to strengthen Medicaid in his state. The week before that, it was Republican Governor Rick Scott of Florida announcing his support, and they're not alone. The Republican governors of Arizona, Michigan, North Dakota, New Mexico, Nevada, and Ohio have all announced their intention to bring these federal dollars to their states to strengthen Medicaid for their citizens. They're doing this not because it's the easy thing for them to do politically, but because it's a smart thing to do economically. Here in Missouri, we need to make the smart business decision and the right human decision. Before I conclude, I want to finish with one little other small piece. I talk a lot about how this is a smart thing to do. It's also the right thing to do. I had an opportunity this week to spend a great deal of time with some faith leaders who are also pushing forward on this. And as I look at a crowd like this right here, I can tell that pretty much everybody here has some sort of health coverage. That when you go to a doctor's office or go to a hospital or go to a clinic, they ask you for your card and you take it out of your pocket or out of your purse and you slide it across and they write your numbers down and they give you health care. There are thousands of working Missourians that don't have that. And they're living a life that's one accident or one illness or one injury away from medical bankruptcy. And they certainly aren't getting the preventative care that allows them and their families to lead the productive lives that folks with health care get to lead. This is one of those moments, one of those inflection points in history where the states that move forward will benefit dramatically and those that fall behind we'll move backwards. Here in the Show Me State, we are prepared to move forward. I would ask each of you to make sure that over this next 10 days, your spring break for your legislators, that you respectfully talk to them about why this is so important and why this business decision on this piece is so vital at this point, and why on January 1st of next year you do not want to be sending your dollars to Arizona and New Mexico and North Dakota and New Jersey for them to get health care and us not here in the Show Me State. Because we're going to have a continued respectful and appropriate discussion about this, but it must get done, and it must get done this year. This is also my last stop before I head back and into the leading a trade mission to Korea and Taiwan, where we're going to announce some very historic deals to sell products that we make here in our great state. I also will have a great opportunity to lay a wreath at the Korean War Memorial on behalf of the over 900 Missourians that lost their lives in that conflict, over 50,000 Americans that preserved the country and a way of life for the folks of South Korea. It will be an honor to represent all 6 million Missourians, not only to make the economic progress that this trade mission will provide, but also to take a moment to pause and thank those who have served for us and made the ultimate sacrifice in serving for this country to do that. First Lady and I will do everything we can to comport ourselves as good Missouri citizens and not cause any undue international incidents. We want to be especially careful not to provoke North Korea, I think, this week. But to give you some sense as to how significantly we're traveling during the NCAA basketball tournament, which shows you my level of commitment to the state of Missouri. We will be back, though. Thank you all for coming out today. Thank you all for your deep commitment to moving this issue forward. Moving forward is what we need to do. Thank you for helping. God bless.